This page is extracted from the official website of the European Recreational Scuba Training Council, which groups together the main international diving educational agencies. It tells us that 20% of people taking a first-level course will enroll at least in one future diving course. Even if this estimate misses divers certified by agencies outside of the just mentioned group, they will not have a significant effect in the numbers. It is reasonable to think that this 20% measured in the European market remains pretty much the same in all major markets, and that the other 80% of divers worldwide will continue their diving careers by relying only on the training obtained in their basic course. That said, let's make these two considerations before seeing the next document.
The first consideration: how long does a diver's career last? There is no statistical data on this. It's even difficult to define when a diving career ends. If I don't dive for 3 years, am I still a diver? If I dive once, after 10 years of inactivity, was my career over? An analysis based on practical knowledge of diving and common sense allows us to state that usually, the career of a diver lasts less than that of other players engaged in many other activities. It's quite common to start gym, golf, tennis, basketball, or swimming in a local pool and so on, and then continue by practicing for several of years, or even decades. As well as, it is quite common to start by buying a pair of shoes, a ski, or a bicycle, and to continue running, skiing, or cycling, for years, or even decades. Still simplifying and generalizing, diving is instead an activity that often we carried out for a certain period of our lives, only to be, sooner or later, abandoned completely. While not diving for months, or even 1 year or 2, is the norm for many divers, among those who do not dive for such an extended time, are a few of the ones who will become consistent divers in the future. For several reasons, a diver's career lasts less than the career of the players of almost all other activities.
The second consideration: what do divers and non-divers have in common? They have in common the belief that diving is not an activity like any other. Divers, for a good reason, because they experience it firsthand, and they know what only scuba diving can give. Non-divers, on the other hand, have very clear in their heads that diving is not like any other activity, due to a countless set of messages that society sends them. Starting when they were children, with novels and movies, full of risks and any kind of monsters, till when they become adults, and they have to hear even the most professional journalist dealing with scuba diving, perhaps because of a news story, in superficial and wrong ways. Because they are often victims of the same halo of mystery that scuba diving exerts on those who do not practice it. Comments like, "He's run out of oxygen," often make us itch. Not to mention, those who wish us good luck before we start a dive. It hardly ever happens to be wished good luck when someone jump off a mountain with 2 pieces of wood strapped to their feet. But water has an almost mystical power. Water is used in countless ways to refer to life, rebirth, joy, happiness, and freedom. As well as, it's often used to awaken our deepest fears. Scuba diving and water are linked. Water, stress, and fear are linked too. Scuba diving, stress, and fear can only be linked as well. And stress and fear can have a huge effect on our diving performances. An analysis of scuba diving activity without considering stress and fear is an incomplete analysis.
Having said that, and before we see if there can be any correlation between stress, fears, and technical limitations, as well as with the fact that 80% of divers do not go beyond the basic training, let's take a look at this document, made available by PADI, the main teaching agency. Unfortunately, the report does not tell us how many divers we are talking about, but the important thing is the list of supposed reasons why divers interrupt their diving careers. Here they are. Having a new family. Local diving is too cold, too expensive and time-consuming, nobody's to dive with. It looks like a birthday party, to which we forgot to invite the birthday girl. Something is wrong. But before we call her, to see if we can straighten out the party, let's take a look at the other guests. What do all these justifications have in common? They all have in common that there is no teaching agency, instructor, or dive guide that can do anything to prevent the diver from stopping diving. They are all independent of the good or bad work done by them, and place all the responsibilities on the diver. Can, or will, an agency, instructor, or guide keep a diver from having or raising a family? Can they change the water temperature? Can they reduce the time and cost required to dive? Can they reduce the price of gasoline, highway, diving equipment, and so on? Can they provide a dive buddy?
If these are the reasons why divers stop diving, it seems that the agencies, their instructors, and their guides have no responsibilities. But it is true? Is there at least one other potential reason that might have pushed at least some divers to stop diving? And going even further, is there at least one other potential reason that might have pushed at least some divers to stop diving, and on which agencies, instructors, and guides could make a difference? Who is the birthday girl for whom this party was organized, but whom we forgot to invite? Right now, we can call it stress or fear, but she is the birthday girl. We had wondered if there might be a correlation between stress, fears, technical limitations, the fact that 80% of the divers rely only on the basic course, and the reasons why divers stop diving. From the data we have presented, it would seem not. But what do you personally think?
If you believe that also stress, fear, and technical limitations can affect a diving career, then we suggest you continue to watch this series of videos. Its goal is to learn how to manage stress and fears, and to turn technical limitations into skills. And a lot can be done. Quitting could be fine, but only when the diver decides it. It must not be because of problems for which we have not received the right solutions.
And what about fun and adventure? Can stress, fears, and technical limitation affect them? Of course they can. And better stress and fear management, along with better skills, are the key to more satisfying dives. On the other hand, dives poor in fun and adventure can easily push divers to quit due to the imbalance between the low satisfaction gained and the high effort needed to manage stress and fear. Solving these problems is necessary for more beautiful dives, and potentially a longer diving career.
Thank you for watching this video, and take a look at its description for the link to the next episode of this series.